हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाये नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धेर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We are seeing the 13th chapter of Gita. Bhagwan in the beginning talks about Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So this body is Kshetra and the knower of this body is Kshetrajna. So I am the Kshetrajna. I, who is different from the gross body as well as subtle body. I, who is different from this world, is the Kshetrajna, the knower. But thereafter Bhagavan tells us the nature of this knower. Bhagavan says, I am this knower, I am Kshetrajna in all the bodies. And this Kshetrajna is Param Brahma. Anadimat Param Brahma, Nasattanna Saduchyate. So as Brahma, we have to recognize ourselves. So Bhagavan indicated this nature of this Brahma in so many verses, and said that my bhakta comes to know me and become one with me. Mad bhakta etad vijñāya mad bhāvāya upapadyate. Now something more about the Kshetra and Kshetrajna is being told, that how we get bound, how we have got bound to this Kshetra. Why do we consider ourselves as a limited being? Though I am that Param Brahma, how come I experience myself to be limited? So what is the Moola Karan for this samsara? Why am I experiencing joys and sorrows? Why do I identify with this Kshetra? All these questions are there. Also, in the 7th chapter, Bhagavan had mentioned that this Kshetrajna, that is Bhagavan's this twofold Prakriti, itself is the yoni, the source of all creation. So how it becomes the source of this creation? All these questions are answered now in the following verses. So let us chant verse number 19. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavapi vikaranshcha gunaschaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. Bhagavan says that Prakriti and Purusha cha eva vidhi, understand, anadi ubhav api, understand them both to be anadi. Anadi means they don't have a beginning, they are beginningless. Beginningless means they always existed. Prakriti as well as Purusha are always existed. They are beginningless. And further Bhagavan says that vikaranscha gunaschaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. And all the vikar is modifications of this Prakriti. So all these modifications, vikar, and the gunas, sattva gun, rajogun, tamogun, Bhagavan says you know them to be born from this Prakriti, Prakriti Sambhavan. Okay? So now let us try to understand this verse. See, Prakriti and Purusha. Bhagwan had mentioned about this twofold Prakriti in the 7th chapter also. So Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Ishwarasya Prakriti Tau Prakriti Purusho Ubhau Api Anadi Vidhi Na Vidyate Adi Yayo Tau Anadi. Both of them are Bhagwan's Prakriti. Here we have to understand, we have to go back to the 7th chapter. There Bhagwan had mentioned his twofold Prakriti, the Apara Prakriti and the Para Prakriti. Okay? One should not forget what we have learnt in the previous chapters. So this Apara Prakriti is eightfold. Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhirevacha Ahankariti Yamme Bhinna Prakriti Ashtadha. Ashtadha Prakriti was mentioned there as Apara Prakriti. And then Bhagwan also mentioned Para Prakriti. He said that this Para Prakriti Apareyas Itastvanyam Vidhi me Prakritim Param. Apareyam Itastvanyam Prakritim Vidhi me Param Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Dharyate Jagata. So he had mentioned Para Prakriti as that which, through which Bhagwan alone expresses as Jiva. So this Para Prakriti is Prana and Apara Prakriti is this eightfold Prakriti. See, this Purusha itself is not Bhagwan's Prakriti, but Prana is this Prakriti through which Bhagwan expresses as the Purusha. So, though here Bhagwan has mentioned Purusha, this Purusha is the Jiva only, Kshetrajna, who is Ishvara himself. Directly Ishvara alone. But through his prana, Bhagwan expresses as this Purusha, and through the Apara Prakriti, Bhagwan expresses as this world. So this twofold Prakriti of Bhagwan is Anadi. Anadi means always there, was always there. Why there Anadi? Because it is Bhagwan's Shakti. What we called Maya itself is called Prakriti. And this Maya or Bhagwan's Shakti is not different from Bhagwan. In the 14th chapter, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji writes in his commentary, कि सा शक्ति ही ब्रह्म एव. This Shakti is Brahma only. Because aham Shakti Shaktimatah ananyatvat iti abhiprayah. Because that Brahma is not different from the Shakti. Shakti and Shaktiman are one only. So Prakriti and Ishvara are not two. Maya and Ishvara are not two. They are one. Because Maya or Prakriti is Bhagwan's Shakti. So Shakti and Shaktiman are not different. And since Ishvara is Anadi Ananta, always existing, similarly his Shakti also always exists. Therefore, one should be very clear about the term Maya. Maya is not ignorance. Maya is not avidya. Maya is Bhagwan's Shakti. Through knowledge we can destroy ignorance. But through knowledge we cannot destroy Maya. Maya cannot be destroyed. One can transcend this Maya to recognize, become one with Ishvara. But many people, out of their misunderstanding, they talk about destroying Maya. Through knowledge, they say we can destroy Maya, which is absolutely wrong. How can we destroy Bhagwan's Shakti? Huh? We don't have the power to destroy Bhagwan Shakti. To destroy Bhagwan Shakti is like destroying Bhagwan only. One can transcend the Maya. In the 7th chapter, Bhagwan said, Ki Daivi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya. My Maya is Daivi, divine. Gunamayi, it has got these 3 gunas, Trigunatmika. Daivi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya. It's my Maya, my Shakti. Daivi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Difficult to transcend, because when this Shakti gets expressed, we are unable to recognize, see Bhagwan's supreme nature. But Bhagwan says, Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Those who surrender to me, they will be able to cross over this Maya. They will be able to cross over this Maya and recognize me. So, therefore this thing should be understood properly. We should never speak about destroying Maya, which is a totally wrong statement. Okay? So this Prakriti and Purusha are Anadi. Here Shankaracharya ji in his commentary he writes कि नित्य ईश्वरत्वाद ईश्वरस्य तत् प्रकृत्यो अपि युक्तम नित्यत्वेन भवितुम. Since Ishvara is Nitya, therefore his Prakriti also are Nitya only. His Para and Apara Prakriti are also Nitya. And Prakriti Dvayatvam eva hi Ishvarasya Ishvaratvam. And Ishvara is called Ishvara because of this twofold Prakriti only. Ishvara means the Lord. Lord of what? Lord of this twofold Prakriti which expresses this world and expresses all the jivas. So Bhagwan is the master of this world. Therefore he is called Ishvara. So Ishvara is Nitya. So his Prakriti is also, they are also Nitya. याभ्याम प्रकृतिभ्याम ईश्वरो जगत उत्पत्ति स्थिति प्रलय हेतुः ते द्वे अनादि सत्य संसारस्य कारणम. And through this twofold Prakriti only, Bhagwan creates the world, sustains the world, and again dissolves the world into himself. So the world is also Anadi. All the jivas are also Anadi, means beginningless, Nitya. Ishvara is also Nitya, because Ishvara is Nitya. There are those who say that no, this is Prakriti and Purusha cannot be called Nitya. They are, if they are born at a particular time. So if we think that this Prakriti and Purusha are not Nitya, they are born at a particular time, then that will create some problem. What problem? Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji writes in his commentary कि प्राक प्रकृति पुरुषयोः उत्पत्तेः ईशितव्य अभावात् ईश्वरस्य अनीश्वरत्व प्रसंगात्. Suppose we say that once upon a time this Prakriti and Purusha were not there, only Ishvara was there, because he is Nitya. Then Ishvara without Prakriti and Purusha will have nothing to rule over. So how can we call him Nitya Ishvara? He will become a non-Ishvara. Also, if we say that is Prakriti and Purusha, they were born at a particular time, that means the jivas are were not there before and suddenly they were born, and jivas are born and they are put into the samsar, that also will not be right. Then we will have to say that without a cause there is samsar for all the jivas, and since it is causeless, the jivas, the samsar will not be eliminated also. And also to say that jivas are born and directly put into samsar will be totally not proper. So samsarasya nirnimittatve anirmokshatva prasangat shastranarthakya prasangat bandha moksha bhavat prasangat cha. So one will have to say that there is no cause for this bandhan. So if there is no cause for bandhan, then there will not be any way of moksha also. So all the scriptures which talks about moksha will also become useless. So all these anomalies will be there if we don't accept Prakriti of Bhagwan as Anadi. But if we understand them as Anadi, then all these things will get resolved. So there is this world which is the expression of Bhagwan's Apara Prakriti, and there are the Jivas who are expressions of Bhagwan's Para Prakriti. So I am there, a Jiva, who is experiencing this world and who is experiencing the Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti Avastha. Okay. So I experience the Jagrat, and in my Jagrat Avastha, I experience the world as outside me. I experience myself to be this body, and I experience the world outside me. I know the world through my senses, through my mind. So I am the knower of this outside world. That is what I experience. Then when I go to sleep, when I dream, I become the knower of the inside world. The world, dream world, which is inside. I become the knower of that inside world. And in deep sleep, I remain there not knowing anything. So this person who is there now, awake and experiencing this world, and who thinks himself to be Karta, Bhokta, Jnata, is the Jiva, but who is ignorant. Because really speaking, I am that Brahma only, who is neither Karta, nor Bhokta, nor Jnata. But now I consider myself as Karta, Bhokta, Jnata. So why do I consider myself as the Karta, Bhokta, Jnata? Because of not knowing myself. Because of avidya. Avidya means I don't know myself as Brahma. Who don't know myself as Brahma, this waker. I who am awake now, I do not know that I am Brahma. So I who is awake, who doesn't know I am Brahma, is the ignorant Jiva. And this ignorant Jiva, from when did he not know that he is Brahma? From the beginningless time. So I, the Jiva, is ignorant about myself from the beginningless time. Okay? Though I am that Brahma, I do not know that I am that Brahma. So this jiva is anadi. Similarly, all the jivas in all the bodies are anadi. And the bodies as well as this world is also anadi, beginningless. And that is what Bhagavan says here, कि प्रकृतिम पुरुषं चैव विद्धि अनादि उभव अपि. And when through my sadhana, when I come to recognize myself as Brahma, this anadi avidya gets eliminated and I am able to transcend this maya and recognize my oneness with that Brahma. Okay? But at present I am ignorant, and this ignorance is anadi, beginningless. Beginningless means there is no cause for this ignorance. All the jivas are born ignorant, and they were ignorant from beginningless time. But through our sadhana, through our effort, with the help of the scriptures and teacher, we can eliminate this ignorance and become free of this samsara. So this ignorance is the basic cause for this samsara. The ignorance has given rise to misunderstanding, which gives rise to this samsara. Okay? So, what is the role which the apara prakriti plays? And what is the role played by this para prakriti? Means, what is the role played by the para prakriti and this jiva? Because together they become the cause of this samsara. So Bhagavan says, he talks about the role of Prakriti here. He says, Vikaranshcha gunanshchaiva vidhi Prakriti sambhavam. That all vikar and all the gunas, understand them to be born from Prakriti. See, we have again to go back to Bhagavan's Prakriti. The eightfold Prakriti is there. The Avyakta. When the whole world gets merged into Ishvara, the Prakriti remains without getting expressed. The whole world remains in Ishvara. All the jivas and the whole world remains in Ishvara without getting expressed. As Ishvara alone. The Upanishad, they say, Sadeva Saumya idam agra asit. That before this manifestation of the world, everything was only Sat. So Bhagavan's Prakriti remains unmanifest. And when the creation has to happen, then the Prakriti starts manifesting. So the unmanifest Prakriti is called Avyakrita Prakriti, in which both the pranas and the apara Prakriti is there. Then when the manifestation takes place, the prana get manifested and the apara Prakriti also start getting manifested. So Avyakta Prakriti manifest first as Mahat Tattva, then it manifests as Ahankar, and then Panchatan Matra, and then further this Panchatan Matra expressed as the Pancha Mahabhut and the Dasha Indriyas and Manabuddhi Chitta Ahankar, all the expressions happen. So the Avyakta Prakriti manifest means modifies to become this world. So the modification of this Avyakta Prakriti is called Vikar. So So this vikar of this prakriti alone has given rise to the entire world and our body, as well as our senses, as well as the antakarana. Okay? Then this prakriti has got the three gunas also in them. Prakriti, that is Maya, has got these three gunas. So when the jivas start getting expressed, the jiva through their mana buddhi starts experiencing the threefold gunas of this prakriti. The three gunas, sattva gun, rajogun, tamogun, are experienced by the jivas, the purusha, as the different expression of the mind. The sattvic expression, the rajasic, the tamasic, as sukha, dukkha, all these expressions are experienced. Therefore, before also Bhagavan had said, कि एचैव सात्विका भावाः राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि नत्वहं तेषु ते मयि. In the 7th chapter, Bhagavan says this, all this expression of sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, understand them as coming from me only, means from my prakriti. So the three gunas are experienced. The three gunas are also expressions of prakriti, and all the vikar, including our body, our senses, the mind, are all expressions of prakriti only. So prakriti is the cause, is the source of all vikar and all gunas. So vikaranscha gunaschaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavam. See, the whole structure of this world, if it is understood properly, then we will be able to accordingly do our sadhana and transcend this prakriti and recognize our own self. Therefore, all these things are required, this knowledge is required. So, vikaranscha gunaschaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. So, exactly what are the vikar and how the gunas are experienced, and what is the role of this purusha, what is the role of this jiva in the creation of this world, in the creation of samsara, what is the role of the jiva, that also Bhagavan now tells in the next verse. He says, Karya karana kartritve hetu prakritiruchyate purusha sukha dukkhana bhoktrutve heturuchyate. Bhagavan says, Karya, that is effect, and karana. Karana are all the equipment, instruments, like the senses, the mind. In the kartrutva, in the making of this effect as well as the effect, actually karya, final effect is our body. So in the making of our body and in the making of the inner equipments, the sukshma sharir, the pancha jnanendriya, karmendriyas and antakarana, in the making of this inner karana, who is responsible, who is the cause, what is the source? Karya karana kartatve, what is the hetu behind all this? Hetu prakriti ruchyate. Bhagavan says the prakriti is the hetu. My prakriti, from my prakriti only, the whole world comes into manifestation. all the bodies of all the jivas come into manifestation. The source is my Prakriti. See, though the Bhagwan's Prakriti is the source, but since these jivas are there anadi, their samskars are there, so their samskars are there in the Prakriti. So based on this samskar, the Prakriti creates the different bodies for different jivas. So I get my body according to my samskar, you get your body according to your samskar. The whole world gets created according to the samskar. Those samskars are the product of avidya, and this avidya is associated with the Prakriti. So based on this samskar, the Prakriti manifests this world. We have seen before also that how the whole thing happens. So the first person who is born is Hiranyagarbha. So Hiranyagarbha has got the cosmic Samashti Buddhi, Samashti Mana and Samashti Ahankar. And what is Hiranyagarbha's Ahankar? Hiranyagarbha's Ahankar is Avidya Sanyuktam Avyaktam. The avidya of all the jivas and their samskar because of this avidya, along with the avyakta, becomes the ahankar of Hiranyagarbha, and Hiranyagarbha's ahankar becomes the motivation for this whole world to come into manifestation. So behind this world, the Shakti is of Ishvara, but the pravritti, the purpose because of which this whole world comes into manifestation, is the avidya of all these beings. So avidya sanyuktam avyaktam. I had given the example once in the previous one of my talks of a mother having, let us say, 5 children. And those 5 children are hungry and they ask for food. They themselves don't have the capacity to cook. They don't have the ability to cook, but they are hungry. So they ask their mother, please give us food. And every child needs different type of food. The mother doesn't want to eat. She's having upvas, you can say. The mother has got no desire to eat, but the mother has got the Shakti, the ability to make food. So the desires of the children and the ability of the mother comes together and the food is made. If this is understood, Ishvara is like the mother and all jivas are like the children. Because of their ignorance, they have a lot of desires. And in order to fulfill their desire, they want this world. They want body. They want equipment. They want antakarana. So they, as though, ask Bhagwan, please give us all this. Bhagwan himself doesn't need anything. Jivas themselves cannot create everything. So the desires of the jivas and the Shakti of Bhagwan come together to manifest this world. So karya karana kartatve hetu prakriti ruchyate. So here Bhagavan says the hetu, the cause for the creation of karya is this body, and karana are all the inner equipment like the pancha jnanendriya, pancha karmendriya, and mana buddhi chitta ahankar. They are the inner equipment. The cause for creation of this is prakriti. The kartatva is in prakriti to produce all this. But why is this prakriti producing all this? For the bhoga of the Purusha. Purusha wants to enjoy. Purusha wants to experience all these joys and sorrows. So, what is the role of the Purusha? Purusha has become the bhokta, the enjoyer. Considers himself as the enjoyer. Due to his ignorance, the Purusha becomes the knower of this world, the enjoyer of this world, and a doer in this world. So in order to give bhoga to this Purusha, the Prakriti creates this world. So Purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchyate. So Purusha becomes the cause, the hetu, through his bhoktrutva bhavna, this sense of enjoyership. He becomes the enjoyer of sukha and dukkha, etc. Sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchyate. So the Prakriti, its gunas expresses as the sukha dukkha in our mind. The mind is also product of Prakriti, and the sukha dukkha is also product of Prakriti. Therefore, the mind is also kshetra, and the sukha dukkha are also kshetra dharma only, which we have seen before. Ichcha, dvesha, sukham, dukkham, sanghatas, chetana, dhratihi. All these are kshetra dharma. So the gunas of Prakriti are experienced by the Purusha as sukha, dukkha, joy, sorrow, and all those which we experience, anger, jealousy, greed, different types of emotion, different types of thoughts. They are expressions of this Prakriti only. More about this Prakriti and the whole beautiful mechanism, how this Prakriti works, how the gunas work, that Bhagavan will tell in the next chapter, in the 14th chapter. See, this Prakriti is the expression of, the gunas are expression of Prakriti. We don't have direct control over the gunas, but based on the type of action we perform, the gunas of Prakriti start expressing in that way. If we start performing actions more and more sattvic, then sattva guna start expressing in our antakarana. If we start performing actions which are rajasic, then rajoguna starts expressing in our antakarana. And based on this, our actions and these gunas, we are born as with different personality, like Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Guna karma vibhagasha. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasha. So Purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchyate. But this Purusha is who? Purusho jivaha kshetratnya bhokta iti paryayaha. Purusha is same as kshetratnya. Purusha is the jiva. Purusha is the bhokta. With ignorance, when I look at myself, I am the Jiva. When that ignorance gets eliminated, when I look at myself, I am Brahma. So the same Jiva, when seen from the standpoint of ignorance, is a bound samsari. But when that ignorance gets eliminated, the Jiva is recognized as Brahma. Jiva is Brahma. I am Brahma. But I am thinking myself to be Jiva. Jiva means one who thinks himself to be Karta, Bhokta, Jnata is called Jiva. And that is the expression of my ignorance. But when I come to know that I am not a Jnata, I am not a Karta, I am not a Bhokta. And this we can understand when we contemplate on ourselves when we were in deep sleep. In deep sleep, I was not doing anything because I am not a doer. In deep sleep, I was not knowing anything because I am not a knower. In deep sleep, I was not enjoying anything because I am not an enjoyer. All these are false concepts on myself I have placed due to ignorance. In Mandukya Upanishad also, the Rishi says, कि न अंतःप्रज्ञम न बहिष्प्रज्ञम न उभयतःप्रज्ञम न प्रज्ञानगणम न प्रज्ञम न अप्रज्ञम. This jiva is really not a knower. Neither he knows outside nor he knows inside, nor he remains without knowing anything in the deep sleep, but he is really that Turiya Atma, that Brahma. So Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he writes that this Purusha is that Kshetrajna only. So how this Purusha becomes the cause for this samsara? Actually, due to his ignorance, Purusha identifies with the Prakriti, and this identification with the Prakriti becomes the cause for this samsara. Because of my identification with the Prakriti, I consider myself as the Karta, Bhokta, Jnata. And in order to fulfill my desires, this Jagat has to be created again and again. So I also become the cause for this samsara. So the Jiva as well as the Prakriti together become the cause for samsara. Means Bhagwan's Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti together become the cause for this samsara. So I hope you are understanding what I am saying. We have actually covered some of these points in the lectures before also, and if there is some, if it's not clear, you can listen to this talk again, and if you have any questions, you can always ask. Because I assume that you are understanding, and I am, because I don't know, I don't see you. Some of you reply to my questions also, so I get some feedback, but otherwise I don't get any feedback. So, how exactly this ignorance has of this jiva becomes the cause for this samsara? Shankaracharya ji, he writes, कि सुख दुःख संभोगः संसारः पुरुषस्य च सुख दुःखानां संभोक्तृत्वं संसारित्वम् इति. Because of his desire to experience the joys and sorrow, itself becomes the cause for this samsara. But how What is the role of this ignorance? What happens? That Bhagavan explains now in the next verse. He says, Purusha prakristho hi bhumte prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasajyo nijanmasu. Bhagavan says this Purusha prakristho hi bhumte prakritijan gunan. Purusha seated in Prakriti experiences the gunas of the Prakriti as Sukha, Dukkha, Labh, Hani, Jay, Parajay. See, the Jiva, has got this choice. What is the choice? The choice is to either sit in Prakriti or sit in Brahma. Due to ignorance, I consider myself Jiva. At present, I have choice to continue sitting in Prakriti and experiencing the joys and sorrows, or to sit in Brahma and become free of this samsara. Bhagavan says, Jiva or Purusha Prakritistaha, seated in Prakriti, enjoys what? The gunas of Prakriti. Prakriti jan gunan. Gunas born from Prakriti. As I said, the gunas expresses as Sukha, Dukkha, Moha. Prakriti-taha jatan Sukha, Dukkha, Moha kara abhivektan gunan Sukhi, Dukhi, Modaha, Panditaha ahamiti evam. And then he considers himself as Sukhi, Dukhi, wise, ignorant. So seated in Prakriti. But how one gets seated in Prakriti? Due to ignorance, there is what we call adhyas. So the nature of Prakriti I superimpose on myself, and my own nature I superimpose on Prakriti. So this anyonya adhyas happens. That itself is what is called seated in Prakriti. Okay? See, again to understand this, I, the waker, experiences this world, experiences this body, experiences dream, experiences deep sleep. So I, the waker, is the one who has got the ignorance. And I, the waker, is the one who is confused, who has done the adhyas. I misunderstand myself, who is really the Kshetratnya, who is free from the gross body, subtle body. But I misunderstand the Kshetratnya as this physical body. So I superimpose the nature of the body as well as the mind on the Kshetratnya and think that I am born, I am changing, I am becoming old, I am man, I am woman, I am lame, I am blind, I am deaf. So the nature of the body is misunderstood to be my nature. And my nature as Sukha, I misunderstand it as the nature of this world. So I seek Sukha in this world. So this mutual misunderstanding the Kshetratnya as well as the Kshetra, and superimposing their nature on each other is what is called adhyas, is what is the cause for this samsara. So that is what Bhagavan says, this Purusha, due to ignorance, he sits in that Prakriti and experiences the gunas of Prakriti. Purusha prakritisto hi bhungte prakritijan gunan. So karanam gunasangosya. So this identification with this Prakriti, misunderstanding the Prakriti, kshetra and kshetrajna, and identification with the gunas as sukha, dukkha. They are expression of Prakriti, but I consider myself as sukhi and dukkhi. This itself, Bhagavan says, is the cause for the samsara and cause for taking birth again and again. Sadasad yoni janmasu. In Sat as well as Asad yoni, means in good and bad life forms, we are born again and again due to our identification with this Prakriti because of ignorance. And enjoying the sukha dukkha of this Prakriti. So when we understand this, first of all we should understand that this adhyas has taken place. Thereafter we should develop that intense desire to become free of this adhyas, to gain that knowledge and recognize myself as Brahma and become free of this samsara. See, like we go to watch a movie. We buy the ticket and then we sit in the theater, and very sad movie. So we watch that and we keep crying and weeping and feeling miserable. But we have choice. What is the choice? To leave that theater and walk out. See, there are those who watch the movie and they identify with the character so much, they actually start feeling that they themselves are miserable. So there are those people who watch the movie without identifying. They are like the Jivan Mukta. And there are those who just walk out of the theater. Both ho gaya. They are the Videha Mukta. And there are those who are sitting there watching movie and feeling depressed, crying, weeping, frightened. They are the samsari. So I, the jiva, I have choice to either remain a samsari or to gain that knowledge and become Jivan Mukta, and then even transcend this and gain that Videha Mukti. Okay? So our ignorance has bound us to this samsara, and knowledge will set us free. So what is that knowledge which we have to gain? What is that which we have to recognize? That Bhagavan had said before also, but again he will tell in the next verse that we will see in our class tomorrow. Okay, so till then you take care. Listen to this pravachan again. These are very interesting and very nice, and once we come to understand this properly, then we will be able to do our sadhana and gain our ultimate goal. Okay? Because lot of misunderstanding, if we have any misunderstanding about what Gita is talking about, what Upanishads are talking about, then we will not be able to proceed further on our spiritual journey. So listen to this again, clarify all your doubts, make the thing very clear in your mind, and proceed with enthusiasm and zeal towards your supreme goal. Hari Om. So till then, take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana, and we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Siyava Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.